All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Vendor's Table. My name is MC Mday. Today we are joined by a special guest, a man you may have seen on many platforms, BBC One, Channel 4, Channel 5, ITV, everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Emmanuel Asuquo.
Come on. We're here.
Come on. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you? How are you?
I'm wonderful. I know we had a little brief intro for you, but I'll allow you to introduce yourself. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Emmanuel Asuquo, financial advisor, TV personality, presenter. I do a lot in regards to like finance, money, trying to get people that work really hard for their money, learn how to make their money work for them. Because I feel like it's a lot of a one way. I think especially, in our community, we know about working hard.
Yeah,
like
sure.
We've been working hard since slavery. Do you know what I mean? We know the working side, but we don't know how to make that money that we make work for us. And so that's what my real thing is about, how to teach people how to make money work for them, building generational wealth, and then having that on for giving a leg up to the next generation that comes after you as well.
Nice. Yeah, so we're gonna touch on all of that. And obviously how that relates to weddings as well.
Yeah, of course.
Just before we do that, obviously we like to do a little icebreaker to get into little things. So we're gonna do a dilemma today.
Yeah.
Obviously it's gonna be a financial one.
Come on.
So here's the dilemma. So I'm a 26-year-old male, and my partner and I are now engaged. We are based in the southeast on fairly humble salaries. We have recently been discussing what we want to do in terms of buying a house versus having a wedding.
Yes.
We are incredibly fortunate to have some inheritance from her side to help cover the deposit of a house.
Yeah.
The wedding should be mainly funded by us.
Yeah.
However, I think if we did it all at once, it would have a significant financial strain.
Yeah.
As we want to make the best use of our savings.
Yeah.
The financial mind in me says that buying a house first is the most logical decision.
Of course.
As we start to build equity sooner. And I also think time in the market versus timing the market also applies. On the other hand, we buy a place, then there'll be several subsequent costs. So we may be spending quite a considerable amount of money on the house over the first couple of years, which will push the wedding back. Whereas once the wedding is planned and paid for, there isn't anything further to pay. We're both on 35k. Housing in the southeast, as well as wedding venues, are pricey. So it's preferable for me that we pick one and focus on saving / preparing for that. Any advice would be appreciated.
Come on. So for me, I see this every day, bro. This is my everyday life. I get booked with husband and wife, and we sit down, and I have to be the mediator to this drama every single day. And
it's common, yeah.
This is. When I tell you, this is my daily life.
Okay.
Like, so I deal with this all the time because remember, finance is one of the biggest reasons for divorce.
100% agree.
So if you're going into marriage already arguing about finances, is a problem.
Okay.
So a lot of the time people come to me and say, look, husband thinks this, wife thinks this, which one, like, can you help us come to a happy medium? And what's the financial, logical thing to do? Taking away the emotions.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, marriage is love, is something that you've been dreaming about since you were a kid, especially for women. So all of those emotions are going to make you make a decision.
For sure.
And we all know that when it comes to money and finance, you need to take away the emotions. You can't be emotional.
Yeah.
So, simple as this. At the end of the day, a wedding doesn't cost a lot of money. You can get married at a court very cheaply.
Yep.
Talking hundreds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Few hundreds. So for me, I would say, get married at the court, do the few hundreds, you're married now. Legally, you're married. Buy your house. And then once you buy the house, you can then plan a wedding afterwards from owning a house. The reason I say that is that if you do it the other way, let's say now you get married first, you talk about the costs of buying a house. Even after you get married, then you might want to do a honeymoon. Then you do a honeymoon, and then what happens? Unfortunately, God blessing or not God blessing, somebody gets pregnant. Now you got a kid on the way.
Yeah.
Now
all savings getting towards that.
Now all the money's going to go towards the child that's coming. Now you might even need a bigger house because the one that you're renting at is not big enough. So now you might need a house, you might have a flat. So all of a sudden you have to start making those changes. Then you might now need to think about nurseries. And so the area you're living in might not be the best place in regards to nurseries. So now you want to move nurseries. Then you're thinking about schools and catchment areas. So all of a sudden that your child becomes the focus.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, now you're paying nursery fees. Now all of a sudden you're paying nursery fees, and then now you want to go and start saving for a deposit for a house. It's impossible. You see that house thing while it's here, because remember, you have to remember house prices are going up.
Yeah.
So the money that you have now, especially on humble salaries, the you need to humble the wedding. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
You need to humble the wedding. You can get married in the court, buy that house, and then if you have a big lavish party or not, you're still married to the person that you love, and you have assets.
For sure.
There are loads of people that have amazing weddings and have no assets and have debt and so forth. So for me, the financially wise thing to do, especially as you've got this inheritance and you've got this opportunity now, get on the ladder now, and that will benefit not only you, but your family and generations to come.
Okay. Fair. So definitely house first.
Without fail.
Yeah. No possible leeway for the wedding. Obviously, like, so let's say it's the price of weddings. No, the price of weddings that people want to have, I should say, is what's probably driving these kind of conversations.
Cool.
So let's say they had a lump sum of like 40K.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say they should focus majority on the deposit and then, as you said, do the court and then start saving for the wedding later? Or should they 20 or...
I think for me, you have to ask yourself, am I getting married to be with my partner, or am I getting married for people? Because I think a lot of us, our focus is on the wedding.
Yeah.
We put a lot more focus on the wedding than the marriage. If my focus is on having a happy marriage and I've married my partner and I'm accountable to this one person, and so the only person I should care about is this person, and vice versa, we care about what's best for us, forget everyone else, then the reality should say that, you know what, actually, we should get this house and start building wealth for ourselves and not put ourselves in a position where we use it and then we're going to rent. We're going to pay somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but if you don't have to, what will be better for your marriage is because especially with property, the earlier you get into it, the better. It's a time. And remember, property is going up every 10, 15 years, especially in the Southeast. It's doubling in price. Yeah. So you're going to use the money on a wedding that there's no return. There's no financial return from this wedding, but actually you own this property and in 10, 15 years time, the price of it is doubled. Yeah,
for sure. And even if you wait to buy, you're feeling negative effect of that price increase because you're buying at a high price as well. Okay. I'm with you. I'm sold. Dilemma, hopefully that answered the question for you.
Hopefully. Remember, they're going to listen and
exactly.
Because emotions are emotions.
When the emotions get hold of you, and one person's more passionate about it, and then they're like, let me to make them happy. You know?
Of course. And you got the pressures of parents. Remember, culture as well. Culture doesn't make sense. Culture is not about making sense. Culture is culture. Do you know what I mean? So when parents are saying you've got to do this and our culture, we do this and we do that, all of a sudden.
Yeah, and the cost of the spiraling, suddenly you've gone from 1 day to 2.5 days.
Come on.
And,
now you're paying for people, flying people from there, here, that you can't even afford it's mad.
So in saying all that, and what's your thoughts on elopement?
I think a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are getting married abroad, and it makes sense when you do the numbers. It tends to be cheaper than doing it here, and also you tend to really have people that you actually who care about you, who will spend that type of money to come out to your wedding. And it makes it more intimate. It makes it more a much better environment. Do you know what I mean? I found that I did my wedding here, 500 people. I had 500 people telling me that afterwards that, sorry, I couldn't make it. I wouldn't even have known. When you got that level of, you can't remember who was there. Like, you just see faces. Do you know what I mean? And plus, when you spend that type of money, all you're counting is tables, serviettes, knife, cutlery. Is everyone eating? Like the money's there, so you're not really thinking about faces. But so whereas if it's abroad, it's more intimate. You know the people are coming. You scheduled. You know all the faces. I had people saying congratulations to me on the day of my wedding. I don't even know who they are, but they're from my wife's side. You know what I mean? Okay, so you're meeting them for the first time. Whereas it's more intimate. Do you know what I mean? It's more closer.
I think meeting people on their wedding day for the first time is absolutely insane to me. But
think about it.
It happens still. It happens so commonly. All right, cool. So we're gonna break it up into like 3 parts. So in the lead up to the wedding, so like from engagement to the wedding, then planning the wedding and focus on the wedding itself, and then sort of preparing for life after marriage. So in the lead up to the wedding, then, so I proposed. We'll exclude the ring cost conversation. What you proposed? What should be the approach for the man and the woman in this process in lead up to the wedding?
So in the lead up, from the point of proposal, I would have hoped that by that time you've already understood each other's financial situations. You already understand people's credit scores. You already understand people's financial goals, what they want to achieve. You've already looked at, okay, based on where you're at, what's your salary? How far can your income go? Because that's really important. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you want to talk about buying houses and all this other stuff. Like, what if you work hard in your industry, from where you are now to where you want to be? How much is your income? Like, what's possible? Like, how do we get there? These are the types of conversations we should be having, because that should then help you decide, okay, what is feasible within our marriage if things work out the way we plan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those are the types of conversations you're having before. Then it's about, okay, now budgeting, right? So what are the goals that we want to achieve together? What are the goals that we might have individually? Because remember, when you first get married, you are two individuals becoming one. So at the very beginning, you're still kind of individual. You still have your career that you're thinking about. You still have maybe certain courses that you want to take, or there might be countries that you want to visit, or things that you want to do individually that now you have to see, how can we combine that? So those are the types of conversations that should be kind of planning out the next few years. I think also the kids thing, we should calm down. No, just coming from a person that coming from a person that got married and then had a child 13 months later.
So yeah, okay, yeah.
I definitely feel like, you know what, let's take it easy.
Fine, I agree. I think married life should be enjoyed, husband and wife, a bit of time before.
Yeah, there should be time. Do you know what I mean? There should definitely be time. You don't have to go straight into kids. You know what I mean?
Fine.
Especially with this type of economy. Do you know what I mean, that we're having? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, again, that kids talk should be there. Okay, if we are going to have kids, at what age would you think you'd want to? And that all depends on what age you're getting married. Do you know what I mean? If you're marrying older, then it might be sooner. If you're marrying younger, you've got time. So all of those types of questions should be in there. But what are the kind of, you should have a vision board of, okay, now we're coming together. What are the key things? It might be actually our first 2 years, what we really want to do, maybe buy a house and we want to travel. Or, you know what, I want to finish doing my masters, or whatever the goals are. Those are the types of conversations you should be having to say, okay, now we're coming together. We had these individual goals. Which ones are we going to keep and which ones are we going to let go? Because we can't be married and still be individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
We now have to become one. So what does one look like with us together?
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, these are kind of conversations. And so you're saying that these conversations should be happening, they should have happened by the time you've proposed, or just before you get married, basically?
I think it depends on how close your proposal is to when you're getting married. Okay. So if you're proposing and you're saying you want to get married in 6 months' time, then the conversation should have been already happened. If you're saying you're proposing but you now want to start saving towards that for the next 2 or 3 years before you get married, now again, not many people want to be engaged for 2 years. So again, these conversations should be happening early. Do you know what I
mean? Okay, cool. So that's prior then. So when it comes to planning for the wedding, in fact, obviously there's no like number in terms of like how much your wedding should cost. Yeah. Especially like in this economy with like the prices the way they are, and everyone wanted different things. But what should people be thinking about when they're thinking, how much should I spend on a wedding?
How long do you want to wait before you get married? Okay. To me, that's the question I always tell people, like, how long do you want to wait? So if you're saying, I want to get married and I want to get married soon, and you've got 5K in your account, you know that you can't have a 40K wedding in that time. Yeah. And I'm not including getting debt. I don't believe that you should take out loans to get married.
You don't believe in that?
I don't believe in that. I don't think you want to start off your married life in debt. Yeah. Especially as that debt can cause a pressure. Especially if two people have income when you get married. Then a child does come. Then now when the household goes down to one income. Yeah. And when you still got this debt from the wedding, that can bring resentment, that can bring issues. So for me, I think you want to start your marriage on a clean slate. You don't want to start in debt. So you're limited to the resources that you have and the time frame that you have. I think that makes sense in regards to what type of wedding you're going to have. Okay.
So basically it's working with what you have, and then within the time frame of your wedding, what's possible in terms of saving and stuff. Okay. Obviously with that then, it's okay, understanding what you have and knowing that that's what you're able to, but then sometimes it can be tricky. I imagine I haven't planned a wedding, so I'm just guessing. But for people that, particularly women that have been wanting to get married their whole lives, and they've got this whole Pinterest board of da-da-da-da. Of course. How does one not get persuaded to overextend themselves in this world where you've got easy visibility? You pick up your phone, your For You pages, Niger and this wedding and that side's
course.
wedding and all that sort of stuff.
There's always the comparison, right?
Yeah.
And that's always going to be there. And, you know, people's situations are different. Some of these, you're looking at these Bella Nigers and so forth, but sometimes they're coming together. Like when I look at Indian weddings, for example, they're even bigger than African weddings.
Yeah.
But the whole family's contributing. We're talking not just the immediate family, we're talking cousins,
uncles,
aunties, like we're talking young, like brothers, like we're talking everyone's contributing from that side. And the wedding has been planned for so long. So it's not as difficult to spend that type of money.
Yeah.
You got to look at you might be, if it's only the two of you and really your parents can't afford to give you that much in support of your wedding, then you can't watch what other people have done because you're not in other people's shoes. You don't have other people's resources. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I really think it's really important to look at your situation and know where you're at and compare it. And remember that you're not getting married for people. You're getting married to the love of your life, to the partner to your life partner. Yeah. And so all you're doing is honoring the fact that we are standing in front of everybody and saying, this is who I'm going to be loyal to, I'm going to look after, I'm going to protect, I'm going to love for the rest of my life. That is what a wedding is. Yeah. Everything else has just come from social media and people just doing too much. The reality is, even if you look at like it wasn't like that. Even the ring thing, it wasn't. The ring thing was done by diamond owners.
Yeah. To be fair,
do you understand? So it's all propaganda. It's all been designed in order to sell something. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
So the reality is that my love for you doesn't change because I spent 100K. I'm not going to be a better husband to you because I spent 100K on your wedding compared to someone who spent 20K on their wedding. That's not how it works. But we almost act like, oh, if you love me, you do this. If you love me, you tap. That's not, the two are not in correlation.
Yeah. I think sometimes that thing can just come from, because even the people that are saying, oh, if you love me, you'll spend 100K. There are people that can comfortably spend 100K, but you're pressing the guy that's struggling to spend 100.
Come on.
But I think there's imbalance on both sides. Like the guy wants that kind of girl, but can't really afford it. And the girl wants that kind of guy, but he's not in a position to give her what she wants. And then that's where you get the financial stress.
And the reality is, none of this means that you're going to have a good marriage.
Yeah, true.
And that's my problem with weddings these days. You're doing if you look at the time, energy, planning that has gone into your wedding. Yeah. If you put that same time, energy, planning into your marriage, your marriage will be so successful.
I agree.
But no, you put it all into the wedding, and then what have you done to them? You just go with the flow.
For the marriage.
Something that you're committing to for the rest of your life, something that you're going to bring children into, something that you just go with the flow. You've done no planning, no preparation, nothing. You're just here. Whatever happens, life happens. Yeah. But with your wedding, you've got choreography, you've got color scheme, you've got fireworks. I was at a wedding the other day. They had gas canisters with different colors coming. I said, wedding, I didn't know if I'm at the Olympic Games. I'm at a wedding. I don't know what's happening here. So. It's gone far now.
I hear it. There is a lot, like, in terms of what's possible at a wedding. I've seen some things that are like, oh, right, I didn't even know that was even a thing. But yeah, when there's a market for stuff to be added to consumerism, of course. Options. But it doesn't mean that all options need to be taken up for everybody. Okay, cool. So we touched on destination weddings earlier, but I think because there was kind of this misconception going around that destination weddings are cheaper than UK weddings. But then when you think about all the other costs that might be included, so like you might really want certain people there, friends and family, or family in particular, that can't really afford it. So you might have to fork some costs or fly some people out, all of that. So in the end, it kind of works out more expensive. But also then, the financial burden, even if it does work out cheaper for the couple, financial burden then kind of shifts to the guests a bit in terms of them having to fly out and annual leave and all that sort of stuff. What's your thoughts on destination weddings and the cost of it from a couple's perspective and from a guest perspective? Yeah,
I think I like the idea of destination weddings. Okay. Because I feel like it makes it memorable. I feel like you're in another country. I think you can control, obviously you can never control the weather, but you're more, remember what country we're in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So even in the summertime, it can just rain on your day. Do you know what I mean?
Which is mad.
It's just crazy.
Which is mad.
Whereas there are places you can go where it's less likely to happen. You know, you've got your closest friends and family. You're sharing an experience together. I feel like you can control the budget. You can, like, especially when you're talking destination weddings, a lot of the time these are purpose-built venues that do this all the time. It's tick and receive. Do you know what I mean? Everything is available. You can just go to your budget. Do you know what I mean? So I like that. Obviously, there is a cost, but I think if you know you're doing a destination wedding and you tell somebody a year in advance, then it's a case of, okay, we were going to go on 2 holidays this year anyway. One of them will be, do you know what I mean? And we'll just stay out there longer and we can have a moment. I feel like, from what I've seen personally, because I think with the destination weddings, again, I feel like from what I've seen, the ones I've experienced, that they've been able to, it is similar in cost because like you said, they've had to pay for certain members and so forth. But I think also they've been able to have that excellence.
For sure,
Do you know what I mean?
The quality is a bit better.
The quality is just the quality of the event. You know, the sound, the music, the choir, the fireworks, the venue open out and you'll come out and you got the views of the sea and you can see the stars in the sky. Like, I mean, you get what you pay for. Do you know what I mean? If you can afford it, it makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
I hear it.
And I'm definitely for it from that point of view. And I think sometimes, especially with this UK, you got the cold. You've got the struggle to park sometimes. We're now going to Kent or Essex or wherever, some long drive, the motorway closed or like, it's just not a nice. So this UK is hard. It's a hard place. Nobody's happy. Do you understand? Nobody's smiling. Nobody's happy. So even when you're going from your cut to the venue, someone's angry about something. The security, even the staff. Sometimes the people that are working for you. You say, am I paying you or are you paying me? Are you angry at my wedding? Do you know what I mean? Like, customer service here is just not the same.
I hear it.
Like, I don't know. Like, when you go places, like the service, the level of service, like when you pay, like these men will make sure everyone's smiling, people are greeting you, people are happy, the sun is shining. I'm for it, man. I hear
it. It makes a big difference as well, like the atmosphere and the feeling that people give you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that level of service is just so much better in the I guess because the weather's good, right? What do you have to be angry about?
What do you have to be angry? What do you have to be angry? And it's slower pace. Everything is rush. Why are you rushing me on my wedding day?
It's true.
Take our time. Let's go. No, you got to rush here, rush there. But because everything's purpose built, everything's in the same place. Do you know what I mean? They know how to get everything. Oh no. Destination, definitely. If I could have done it again, I would do destination.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, I think I'm tempted. Well, it will depend on the financial situation. But yeah, for sure. I think destination wouldn't over UK for me. So then from a guest perspective, obviously, attendance at a wedding in the UK probably costs, at worst case, you don't have a suit, you get a suit for a guy, petrol to drive to the venue.
Yeah.
Probably about it. Maybe a gift as well. Destination wedding, we're talking flights, hotel, and if we're talking about just going for the wedding, not extending beyond that for like your own destiny, you're talking flights, hotel, transfers and food while you're out there. So the cost can maybe be up to like, I don't know, like 1.5. Yeah, I feel like sometimes people feel the pressure to attend a destination wedding, particularly bridal party.
Of course.
Bridesmaids and groomsmen, and that can also cause an issue between friends.
100%. I always tell people, you can always say no.
For real.
It's free.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think in this UK, you think if you say no, you gotta pay. No, you can saying no is free. It's free to say no. I can't make it. I can't be there. I'm in my house.
Yeah.
It's free.
I agree.
At the end of the day, don't feel pressure. At the end of somebody's chosen. Listen, and maybe I'm older. I'm at the point, like, even like some of my young ones, they're getting married. I always tell them, listen, if it's tight, if the numbers are tight, please let me be the first that you let off.
Yeah. I've said that as well.
I've seen so many weddings.
Yeah.
I've been there. I love you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to love you after you're married as well.
Yeah.
Let the ones that are only going to come and see you on the wedding day and you won't see them again until the 5th birthday party, or do you understand? Or the whatever it may be. So for me, it's like, I feel like you can say no, number one. Because if that's your pocket, whatever. But also, if it's your friend and your friends told you, you can save. Like, so again, I think with destination weddings, if you know these are certain people you want to be there,
give them notice.
Let them give them notice, but then also be accountable. Let's open an account. Let's make sure we're all putting, because you know how people are. Like, we can all keep an eye to make sure, but also know who you're inviting. So like, I'm always key. Like when we play 5-a-side with the man, I'm always like, I know certain man when we were younger, like, you ain't got the P. Don't worry, I got you. Do you know what I mean?
Fine.
Don't put your people in a place of embarrassment.
Yeah.
You know what man's going through, and then you're now telling him, it's $2,000.
Yeah.
You know man ain't got $2,000. So did you want man there or not? Do you know what I mean? Don't do that. It's wrong. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you, though.
You're not a good friend.
I hear you.
You're not a good friend. Do you know what I mean?
We have to be mindful of our people. If we're calling them our people, we got to make sure we're watching out for them as well.
If that's my boy, and I know my boy can only afford Nando's, why am I saying let's book trip to Dubai?
Yeah.
If you're struggling for quarter chicken, there's no, what are you going to be doing? How are you going to fly to Dubai? Do you understand? So it's like, let's be reasonable. So if you are doing destination wedding, make sure people know in advance. Make sure you've got a way to help them track what they're saving. Make sure and also make sure you're getting them the best discount.
Yeah.
Make sure you're negotiating with the hotel to say, look, I'm bringing these people, pricing. Oh, can we share rooms? Like, whatever you can do to bring the cost down, do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if the big boarders say, I don't want to share, I want my own room, let them do their own thing. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
But try and keep that cost down as much as possible. If man can rent suit, don't have to buy it. Or if you can help in regards to anywhere that you can help, like, help out and make the cost as low as possible for these people that you really want to be there.
Dope. Yeah, that's a gem still. I definitely think not enough people say no. I think people, you even kind of see it on some wedding days where you're looking at the bridal party and they're just like, fuck, you're angry. Yeah. You don't want to be here.
No, but also these brides, you're taking the mick. You're taking the mick.
Why?
No, you're telling people to pay their life savings for your wedding. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to have this for my bridal shower. I need to go here. Oh, I need you guys need to contribute and buy me a Rolex. Shut your lips. Oh, you haven't seen?
No, I haven't seen that one.
What?
Gathering the bridesmaids to buy the bride Rolex?
Buy Rolex for the reveal so that they can end up on Bella Niger. People have put pressure on people's heads that everybody should contribute. Oh, my dress cost this, or this. I want you guys to contribute to help me. And then even like now, you're selling them the material for the traditional way above.
You're bumping them.
You're making. Why would you do this?
That one.
We can all go to market. We know how much these things cost.
Yeah.
Don't act like you've done something.
Me £60 material for £2.
Come on, and you say we're friends and family.
Profit off the people that are coming to celebrate anyway.
Come on, and then I still gotta go and sew it.
It's not even coming.
It's not even coming sewn. I still gotta pay to get it sewn. And then, do you know what I mean? And it's just so much.
Yeah.
That sometimes you just gotta be able to say, like, people do traditional and they invite me, I'll come. If I want to, I'll buy your material. If not, I'll find one of the materials that I've already been made, and I'll wear it.
Match, yeah.
And I'll wear it.
I'll just wear white. That's white. And even if you have filler, bring me the filler.
Come on.
If not, I just wear the white.
I'll just come.
As long as I'm there to celebrate,
I'm here.
Surely that's not more important.
Knowing me, I'm gonna duck out early anyway, because I'm not really on this thing like that. Do you know what I mean? I've just come to show you love. I'm the type of person. I get to the event. I want to see you. I want to shake your hand, say congratulations, because you may not ever not see me again that night. Whenever the time comes, I'm not saying bye to nobody.
Being around is long.
Come on,
that's a surefire way to be there for much longer than you intended.
It's long. Like, but I get it. Some people love being out in the party.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's got their own thing. But for me, it's like I love being in my yard. I like being with my family. I like to keep it relaxed. So all of that is long.
I hear that. All right, cool. So then we move from planning the wedding to we're now married.
Yes.
What is, in your mind, what's the optimal financial setup or way that couples should be looking at their finances once they're married?
Listen, for me, for your joint costs, 2 is 1. There should be a joint account. Like, you don't have to have only a joint account, but for the household cost, there should be a joint account. I don't like, I keep this in my name, that's in your name, you send me money for this. You say, why are we hiding money from one another? And we're married. And we're one.
Yeah.
And you know what? The thing is, a lot of the time, it's the man them.
You reckon,
The man them love want to hide money. Love don't want to have joint account, want to keep them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a bit mad to me.
What do you think the reason is for that though?
I just think men take a lot of their identity from money.
Fine.
And
or the
so-
ability to provide.
So
Okay.
they feel like it's their responsibility to hold the household together. Bro, I'm a financial advisor. I can't tell you the price of milk or whatever. I don't go shop.
Yeah.
My wife does that.
Yeah.
So why am I holding on to all the finance? Like, I feel like delegation is important in a marriage.
For sure.
Like, not that I can't do it, but I know where my skills and where my skill set better lies.
Yeah.
So leave my wife to do what she knows she can do better than me, and I do what, and then we can meet in the middle. Do you know what I mean?
Fine.
So I think having a joint bank account is really, really important. And I feel like, you know, you can have your individual accounts for your own spending, but the stuff that's going in the household, you should want to do it. Me personally, I have a joint account with loads of joint accounts with my wife, like, because I really want to make sure that, because I know I earn more than she does. I don't want my wife struggling to find peace. So coming to ask me, oh, babe, you know, it's my time of the month. I need money for pads. Like, that's not a conversation I want to be having.
Yeah.
Like, you should, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not keeping her a prisoner here. This is not,
for sure.
This is not a prisoner camp. Like, you didn't marry me. And remember, this woman has left her family, changed her name. Yeah. And now I want to hold all the money. Yeah. And just give it. What?
Yeah.
Let's be fair. So for me, it's like, okay, you know, like that's really important. But then also it's a case of like, you know, really this 50-50 thing. Like, it's that couple that we said, if you're both on 35k, 50-50 makes sense. Even if one's on 40k or 45k and others, I can understand.
Yeah.
But when one's on 70,000 and one's on 35k and you want to do 50-50,
yeah,
you're just mean. You're just a mean person. Do you know what I mean? You're just mean.
I hear it. Because that's different. There's different lifestyles.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because you're 50 and have... Like,
somebody has freedom to play after they're 50. Somebody is just, and then they're now becoming to ask you the bad
and they're upset. It's not right. And to me, I've always told my wife it's our money. It's our money, and I always say that because there's ups and downs in this life.
Yeah,
like there has been times where I've been out of work or business ain't going the way it should be, or I've been made redundant when I used to be employed, and my wife has stepped up and it's not been a problem. Yeah, because when I was up, I never made her feel down. So when she has to step up, it's never. Do you know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah.
Even though it's a rare occasion, but I just remember that there's certain periods in life. I remember that I got made with, like, I work in finance during like 2007, 2008 when they had the crash in 2009. Those are some hard years, and you know my wife's energy stayed the same. Do you know what I mean? And like I think it's really important to understand that it's our money rather than your money, because the way you treat someone now when things are going good is the same way they're going to treat you when things are going bad. Yeah. So because it was always our money, when things weren't so good for me, it's okay.
It's still our money as well.
Yeah. But if you're now, this is mine. When you're low and you now, she goes, no, that's mine. This is mine. They're going to use your words against you. And that's how tension comes. Yeah. And that's how problems start. And that's how divorce comes out. So it's really important to have those kind of conversations.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think, there's all this, you see all this talk online about, 50-50 or split percentage rise or but I guess obviously it's different. It'll be different for every circumstance. But I think ultimately our money approach versus my money, your money is the headline. That's where it should start, innit? Yeah,
definitely. And then also just like, you know, like I said before about credit scores. Now you might have because you have joint accounts, you now might appear on each other's credit scores. So it's credit reports. So it's important to make sure that, you know, you're financially responsible. So don't just leave your partner to go and do anything. Yeah. Because that could affect you, especially like me that works in finance. If I have certain things on my credit, I can't work for certain companies.
Fine.
They want to employ you. You know what I mean? That could affect your prospects. So it's really important to make sure that you are having these conversations. What's your partner taking out? Like, there's no point. Like, I always tell my wife, like, if you've got a credit card balance, let me know. We're both going to pay that. To clear it, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Rather than I'm here saving, thinking that we've got dough, and then over there,
your net income in total is
it's minus. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's really important that, like, you know, like, if don't feel like we're able to have these conversations and have transparency. And I feel like sometimes people feel judged, right? So that's why a lot of the time we have secret accounts, or we don't say certain things, or and so forth. So I feel like it's really important to have that transparency.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think the transparency is important. I think, to be honest, at the point of marriage, there should be no reason why you can't be having those conversations, isn't it? We had a couple of questions.
Also, why you're saying that, things that married people need to be thinking about. You got home insurance and stuff like that, but also you need to be having life insurance.
Okay.
You need to be getting life insurance. You need to be thinking about having a will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you've got children. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So you need to be thinking about having wills, especially if you're now buying houses and got assets and so forth. You need to have a will. Need to have life insurance. All of this type of stuff is really important to have in place.
Yeah.
Like those should be standards. I'm married. I've got, you know what I mean? I'm married. We've got our joint accounts. We've got I've got a will. I've got life insurance. Do you know what I mean? Those things should be a standard practice.
So marriage, you should be looking at joint accounts.
Yep.
Wills, life insurance. Obviously, the different types of life insurance as well. But yeah, I think that's just so important.
Yeah. A standard. Yeah, those are the standard. That is the standard that we should be having.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So we had one come in. Me and my partner are planning our wedding. We are thinking about asking guests for money rather than gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you advise this, or is this a bit too crude?
No, I think it's 2025. People know we've got a cost of living crisis that like we've had for a long time. We have food banks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Middle class people that consider themselves middle class are queuing to get free food.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the economy that we're in right now. So I don't think going up telling people, actually, I don't want a toaster or a kettle. I want the £25 or the 30. But I think that's okay. Do you know what I mean? And I think also, you know, especially with the cost of weddings, actually, like, sometimes it's actually better for you to have that money and say, and especially if you have had to, you know, dip into your own pocket get a loan or whatever, or use your savings. And also, it helps if you can, if we can come together and give you guys 5, 10, 15, 20,000 towards your house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't do that for everyone, and I don't expect everyone to put that amount in. But imagine if you say you've grown up with this person and you're really close with them. Do you know what I mean? If you know you can give them 200, 250 and collaborate that with, you know, 100 people.
Yeah. It's going a long way.
All of a sudden, like, yes, you paid for the wedding, but now we've been able to have this money
set you up going forward,
that we can set you up so you're starting life better than before.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that in our community we need to try and think about. And that's why I feel like, number one, we don't need to rush weddings. Number two, because sometimes we're just getting married so that we don't have sex before marriage.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's not a reason to get married.
No.
That's not.
There's too many more important factors.
I don't care what your pastor said. Listen, this is a life decision. Life decision.
Yeah.
That should not be the reason why you say, oh, I must get married.
Yeah.
I understand sexual sin and so forth, but you're leading yourself for so much more troubles down the line if you don't sort out these things beforehand.
For sure.
And like actually making sure that you're getting married to the right person at the right time is really, really important.
For sure.
So, yeah, I feel like that's something that people need to really think about and make sure they're getting married for the right time, right reasons. They're not rushing it. They're not overdoing it, and they're not getting themselves into debt for marriage.
Yeah. I think that's a very key one still, the debt one. I mean, again, when it comes to transparency about paying for costs and stuff, probably a lot of people won't even want to admit that they've done something like that to get into debt to a wedding. But yeah, it's just not a great way to start.
Yeah, not at all.
Cool. We've got another one. I mean, we kind of touched on this, but this is my partner earns significantly more than me. We're looking to do 60%, 40%. I still think that it's unfair on my side. What should we do? Or what should I do?
I think it's about the conversation, right?
Yeah.
I think first of all, especially I think know your husband, right? Know the person you're gonna marry. So first of all, try and resolve these things inside of the house. Do you know what I mean? And have this conversation and just say, look, babe, like obviously that 40% to me is 80% of my income.
Yeah.
20% is not enough for me to live on. And obviously before I got married, I was living on a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's actually affecting my way of life and so forth. So I need a bit more. We need a bit more fairness because of we're coming together and because you earn more. And if he's not hearing it, then I think also have people that counselors, and that's another thing that we should all be doing before getting married is having marriage counseling. Do you know what I mean?
Agree.
And speaking to experts on it. So yes, you know, your pastor or your leader in your church or whoever that leads you through marriage counseling is great, but make sure that they understand finance and money, and make sure they understand the things that they're going to be teaching you. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just their own personal perspective.
Yeah.
Because sometimes marriage counseling, they're just talking about my marriage
experience. Yeah.
But your marriage and my marriage, the conditions of your marriage, the time you got married in and the time I'm getting married in are completely different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So actually, what courses have you taken? What qualifications do you have in order to say that you know you understand what we need to do? So there are loads of courses out there that people can take to be able to be qualified to give marriage counseling. So I think it's really important that people, if you say I'm going to counsel someone, that you've done the work on yourself in order to be able to deliver, because it's a really important service. But I think we should all be getting, you know, marriage counseling before you get married. But I think if you have that counselor or someone close to you, like I remember with me, you know, we had counselors that were close, that were our parents' age, because there was some conflict between our parents. So we were able to go to them and they were able to resolve that. We had counselors that were our age, so that again, or just above older than us, so that if we had certain disagreements, we could go to them and say, look, this is what we're going through. People that had been married before us. And then we had our friends that were married or getting married, and we talk about, what do you do in your household and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So you can compare, because sometimes you're thinking you're the only one going through it. But
suddenly,
going through it.
Yeah.
And now this is a conversation we can all have. And then we can all reason and come to an agreement, like, okay, this is what we think is fair, and let's try it out. And then 3-4 months down the line, you can go, how's it going for you? Oh yeah, it's working. Oh, it's working. It's okay, perfect. Do you know what I mean? So don't feel like you have to, it's just the two of you, so only the two of you have to suffer in silence.
I agree with that though. I think, there's so many times where, I think somebody else said it as well, that you'll be going through something, going mad, thinking about it, racking your brain, suddenly you speak to somebody else and like, oh man, I'm not alone in this. Yeah,
exactly. It's important.
Another one here is, how can I save on my wedding?
How can you save on your wedding?
Yeah, on the cost of your wedding,
of course. There's so many ways to save. I mean, like you said, it depends on how many things you, I think you can also get people to chip in, right? So you get support. So that's number one. So like, you know, even if you've got a close group of friends, you can tell the man, especially with me, with the man them, like when I was getting married, guys are like, yo, Eman, I wanna buy drinks. Like man them wanted to, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because the impact you've had on their life, they wanna bless you back. They wanna be a blessing to you, and it's vice versa. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you've got a good circle of friends, then that can really, really help. Also the extra stuff like stag do and all that, bruv, you can just chill in the yard. Man, them come around, drink, eat pizza, go. Sure. You don't have to now go to Dubai for a weekend. It's not necessary.
It can be a whole lot cheaper.
It can be cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Suits can be second hand or can be hired. Do you know what I mean? Like even the wedding dress, it doesn't have to be. Bruh, nobody knows. This is the first time everyone's seen it.
Probably the last.
And the last time, most probably. So you can rent it.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy it. You can rent it. Use it. Send it back. Get insurance. So if there's any stains, anything, send it. It's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So again, and then think about what can you package? What things can you do? Negotiate. Haggle. Don't just accept the first price. Do your research. Do the work. I think a lot of the time we haven't got the energy. And again, you know, you can pay someone to project manage your wedding for you. And events planner, they're amazing. But a lot of events planners are trying to make money.
Yeah. It's a business.
It's a business. So if they can't get the food for 3,000 and you tell them your budget is 4,000, they're going to eat 1,000. do you understand?
I don't know where the plans are doing that. Let me say, but I hear what you're saying.
I've seen it. My wife does wedding cakes.
Yeah.
My wife does wedding cakes.
Yeah. Good wedding cakes.
Yeah, she's very good.
Amazing. Yeah.
And she's had it where certain people have said, oh no, the couple's the budget is da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when she spoke to them, afterwards, like obviously they become friends with the bride and met them and talked years later.
Damn.
And they said, oh yeah, no, and we paid XYZ. And I was like, there was a difference there. Everything is a hustle.
Hey, that's daylight robbery.
Because some of these, they're trying to make, they've told the bride and groom their fee. The bride and groom have haggled them down to their fee. So now they're trying to see, can I get £50 here, £25, £50, £100 here, and make back up the fee that they want to get paid.
Yeah.
So for me, if you've got family, friend, or someone that you know that can do it, and is actually gonna try and get you the best price, then perfect. If not, split it up. Tell someone you're gonna take on the whole and tell someone you take over this and delegate.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And try and keep the cost, and that's a good way to keep the cost down.
Fine. Okay.
And then for me, we had a checklist. So we went online and just Googled wedding checklist, and we said everything you can possibly have in a wedding. And I sat there with my wife and we take, which one do we have to have? Which one do we not have to have? And then we added up. If we just did it based on what we have to have, this is how much it will cost. Okay, these are the things okay, we can have some of these. Then, okay, we can let these go. And now all of a sudden, we're able to save a lot more. But if you go by every time you go, because listen, every time you go on a visit, I go and view cake. They're going to make you taste the best cake. Yeah. It's going to be more expensive. Yeah. You're going to go to the hall. They're going to show you the best chairs, the best tables, the best. Oh, did you know you can get smoke machine? You never thought about smoke machine in your life. Suddenly, it's it's not the same. Now they're going to tell you, do you know we can get eagles to fly? Eagle. Hey. You don't even like birds. And now eagle is in your wedding. Doves are flying. It's okay. So know what you want. What is the things you want? And then go out and get them rather than just being bamboozled as you go along. Because the second you say wedding, the price of everything is tripled. So be along the way and understand some things you can get yourself. So even if you got a hall decorator, if there are things that you can go and buy online and provide for them, signage,
menu cards, all this sort of stuff.
These stuff, if you can go and get it yourself and then give it to them, it's just to put on the table. It's going to be cheaper than you telling them to go and get it, because everybody's going to add their markup, add their time and their energy and their effort.
I hear that. Those are good tips though. Great ways to keep the cost down. Last one we'll do is how much is too expensive for a wedding?
It depends on your income, right? It's very subjective. It depends on your income, because, for me, I can say 100K in your wedding is diabolical. It's diabolical. But if you're a multi-millionaire, 100K to you relative. is 10,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all relative. But for me, I just feel like you just got to know. I think you got to look back and say to yourself, like, in 10 years' time, will you regret that you spent that much money on a wedding, and what do you have to show for it?
That's a good way to look at it.
So for me, it's like, if I spend 50K on a wedding, and now that means 10 years' time I'm still renting, or if I spent 20K on a wedding, and now 10 years' time I got a house and a buy to let. I know which one I'd rather. I know which one I'd rather do.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so for me, it's that looking back and being able to say, oh, can I know right now it feels right, but when I look, all my future self look back and say, oh yeah, that was a good decision.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to sort of reflect on, is it worth, am I spending too much here?
Yeah.
I think, do you know what? Lately I've been doing things, so like today, for example, I might do something that I know that will benefit tomorrow midday. Yeah. So I'm like, and then tomorrow midday comes and I'm like, do you know what? Thank you.
Thank me. Thank me for thinking about me.
100%. So 100% here. Even more so 10 years down the line, we're talking about like bigger life scale, like house decisions, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Great way to look at it. So last, we'll do quick, just overall advice to couples in regards to finances when they're thinking about getting married or planning a wedding.
Yeah, I think the big thing is have the conversations about money, about your goals. Like, I think it's really important to understand that when you're getting married, marriage is a financial decision. As much as it's a love decision, it's a financial decision. You are coming together, your finances are coming together, your goals are coming together, your trajectory of your life is now coming together. There were people that had the plan to become lawyers, solicitors, doctors, all of these types of things, and because of marriage, it took a different turn. Do you know what I mean? So understand what you're committing to. and then make sure someone's going in the same direction. That's why the conversation is so important. If you know that your future lies in the UK, don't go and marry somebody whose future, they say they want to go back home and be politician in Africa. And that's, it's only going to cause problems.
Facts.
So these are the conversations you want to be having to make sure that you are tying yourself to somebody that's going in the same direction as you. A lot of the time, the reason divorce comes or issues come is because you tied yourself to someone that's going in a different direction to you. Like, love is not enough.
Yeah.
Like, that love can be strong in the moment, but it changes over time. Do you know what I mean? And so make sure you've got someone that's going in the same way. Have the conversations. Also give each other grace.
Yeah.
Understand that you were raised by two people who taught you one way, and your partner was raised by two people or whoever, by parents that taught them another way. And so now the two of you are coming from two different households, and you're creating your own household. So what was standard for you, like we said, 50-50 because your parents was 50-50. Somebody might be coming from a household where their dad paid for everything. Do you understand? Or they only had a mum and never had a dad, and their mum looked after everything. So they've become very independent. So you have to give each other grace and understand okay, what are the values that we are going to have? So these are the values we've had as individuals. What are the values that we're going to have as a couple?
For sure.
In our marriage, in our relationship. Have transparency. Communication is really important, and be accountable to one another. I think that's something that's really missing, is that we need to be. I can't say I'm marrying you and we are tied together, but yet I'm not telling you my goals to hold me accountable towards them. That should be a number one thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Agreed. Big gems. Thank you very much.
Come on.
Appreciate you coming down. I know there's a whole lot of gems in there. I appreciate it. The people will love it as well. Where can people find you? Online, socials.
Sure. It's the Eman Effect UK on social media, on all the Instagram, TikTok, all that. Emmanuel Asuquo on LinkedIn, so you can connect with me there. More business stuff on that, and emmanuelasuquo.com is the website. So contact me on there.
Wonderful. Guys, if you need financial advice, this is your man.
Come on.
It's been a pleasure. It's another episode of In This Table. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you next time.